Hello, everyone. Chodesh Tov. Today we'll finish the laws of Shabbat, Be'ezrat Hashem. So, one may place an Eiruv conditionally. So, we're talking about Eiruv Tchumin, of course, the connecting two nearby towns or Yeshuvim, settlements. For example, if one knows that on Shabbat, two Torah scholars will be lecturing in two nearby towns, but he has yet to decide if he will attend the lecture to the east, the one to the west, or neither. He places one Eiruv in the east and one in the west, and stipulates in his mind that on Shabbat he will decide which tchum to use, the one used on his home, on the Eiruv in the west, or on the Eiruv in the east. Once he has made a decision, though he is bound by his chosen tchum, if he did not make a conscious decision but merely started walking in accordance with only one specific tchum, he has thus established his tchum and may no longer change his mind and walk in accordance with a different tchum. So it's incredible that usually we have to do a maaseh in order to do a mitzvah, in order to be part of keeping a certain law. We have to do an actual action. We're learning now in Kama about the nezikin, but again, it's we have to do something with our hands or with something that belongs to us. There are a few halachot that are decided by our words of the mouth, like making an oath or a neder. But here it seems that even something just in our mind, the machshava, which is talked about a lot in the Chassidut about the power of our thought, but this seems to be even without uttering any words, not saying, this is going to be my Eiruv, but rather just thinking about, or even just walking in a specific direction is influential. And so on a positive note, Hashem tells, the Talmud tells us that Hashem metzaref machshava tova l'maaseh, that if somebody wanted to, for example, give tzedakah, but then realized that they don't have the money or something like that, Hashem considered it as if you did the mitzvah. Baruch Hashem does not consider an avera, a sin, if we didn't actually do it. So if we thought to do something bad but then didn't do it, Hashem does not count that as a maaseh. So it's maybe not pure justice, but that's how Hashem works, and so therefore even what we think in our mind on Shabbat makes a difference. So one may volunteer to place an Eiruv on behalf of all the residents of a locale. So let's say that there's the same example as before, where there's two rabbis coming to two different yeshuvim. Shvut Rachel, for example, is a little bit more than the tchum to Shiloh. One of my brothers lives in Shvut Rachel, so occasionally they go to Shiloh and they do this tchum, but then they can do it on behalf of all the people, just in case they want to go in that direction. So then this person declares, with this Eiruv, it shall be permitted for all local residents and their guests to walk 2,000 amot from this place in every direction. And so it's very much like what we said about Eiruv Tavshilin, that when we're preparing food on Yantev for Shabbat, we make the Eiruv Tavshilin before Yantev starts, where we say, with this Eiruv, all the people in this town, especially if it's the rabbi, can say that, and that way not everybody has to remember to do it, because people sometimes forget. Anyone who is aware of the existence of this Eiruv before Shabbat, even if they did not decide that the site of the Eiruv is their Makom Shvita, their place of temporary residence, may decide on Shabbat that they wish to walk in that direction and may rely on the communal Eiruv. However, one who is unaware of the Eiruv's existence before Shabbat may not rely on it, because they didn't have in their mind to maybe use it. If there are so many local residents that the person placing the Eiruv cannot leave 2 meals worth of food for each one of them, then as long as they know that there will be no more than 20 people who will want to rely on the Eiruv, they may place 2 meals worth of food for 20 people and declare, with this Eiruv, it shall be permissible for anyone who wishes to walk 2,000 amot from this place in every direction for all Shabbatot of the year. This allows all who are interested in relying upon his Eiruv to do so on condition that they are aware of its existence before Shabbat, they rely on it. It seems that when it is clear that someone will make use of the Eiruv, the bracha should be recited, but when it is uncertain whether anyone will make use of it, no bracha should be recited because safek brachot le'akel, brachot are rabbinical decree, and so we don't say Hashem's name in vain if we aren't sure that people will actually use it. If one places an Eiruv unconditionally, his Tuchum is determined by the location of the Eiruv. He may not change his mind and follow the Tuchum measured from his home. So this is just the perfect way to end these halachot with the idea of brachot. So first of all, we'll see the beginning of the parasha where it says, "Vayitvotetzu abanim b'kirba," and the children and the babies in the womb were struggling. V'tomer ken lama ze anochi. Rebecca says, "I don't want to live or exist," and she went to ask Hashem. So Rashi brings a few explanations to this, but the second one is probably the most known. Our rabbis explain that the word "vayitvotetzu" has the meaning of running, moving quickly. Whenever she passed by the doors of the Torah, i.e., the schools of Shem and Ever, so Shem and Ever, Shem the son of Noach, and Ever his son or grandson, Jacob moved convulsively in his efforts to come to birth, but whenever she passed by the gate of a pagan temple, Esau moved convulsively in his efforts to come to birth. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe asks, it's related to the Gemara in Nida, where it says that they don't tell the baby before they're born, Tiyeh Tzadik V'al Tiyeh Rasha, that Hashem gives us free choice to be either righteous or bad. And so how is it that this baby in the womb was already struggling to go out to worship idols? Can we explain that? That seems to be against his free will. And so the answer that the Rebbe gives is amazing. It's the idea that Hashem gives us challenges that he knows we are able to overcome, and they are specific for us. For Yaakov, the challenge was something else, but the challenge for Esav was, will you actually continue this idea of wanting to worship idols, or will you overcome it and be righteous and grow up like Yaakov, your brother and your twin? And that's why it really is with the Bechira Chofshit, but there's still all kinds of tendency. Just like if I had a twin, I can like the color blue and they can like the color red, and it has nothing to do with how we were raised. So sometimes we have these tendencies that are just like that. But I was thinking to add to that, and that's why at the end, when Hashem organizes and with Rebecca's help, for Yaakov to take the brachot, the bracha to both of them was given almost the same words, but the difference, according to Rashi, is that the bracha of Yaakov is contingent on the Jewish people's relationship with Hashem. If they ask for something and they deserve it, then they will get it. If not, not, and they will also be punished if they don't behave according to the Torah. But Esav doesn't have that dependency. If it's the rainy season, it's going to rain regardless of their actions. And so, in a way, that's not such a blessing because we say that we want to have this relationship with Hashem, and Rebecca in this verse even says, "Vatelech lidrosh et Hashem." That this is the first time in the Torah that lidrosh, to seek and to ask for direction, was used. And last but not least, I was thinking that maybe even today, where we live here, once a year there's 4 days of what they call a powwow, and it's based on a lot of pagan traditions and idol worship. A lot of the people don't even understand what they're doing, but that's besides the point. So the shul davening is not as exciting per se as these pagan holidays. So even if Esav wasn't really wanting to worship idols, the drumming and the dancing and the colors and everything else, it's very attractive, and we aren't obligated to do that, but but we do have to find, I think, ways to make our shuls more attractive in a kosher way, so that people will enjoy coming and praying together and learning Torah together, as opposed to what's flashy and very very temporal in the shape of idol worship. So we'll bless you all for a very good Shabbos and a Chodesh Tov, and maybe we'll decide next week where we're going back. I think we should go back to women's prayers, but we'll see.